Welcome to This Explainer. Look, today we're going on a wild, paradigm-shifting journey into the evolutionary realities of parenting. If you have ever been awake at 3 a.m., staring at a screaming newborn and thinking, okay, there has absolutely got to be a better way, well, you're in the right place. We're going to completely dismantle what modern society tells us about raising kids, and we're going to use the science of our own ancestry to do it.
So picture this. Rewind the clock, say 100,000 years. Actually, make it 200,000. There are no parenting books, there is no internet, no self-proclaimed sleep experts, just a screaming infant in the pitch black and a parent who can't just pull out their phone and Google, "Why won't my baby sleep?" What did they actually do? Well, the answer completely flips the script on everything we think we know about infant crying, maternal instinct, and why modern parenting feels so impossibly hard.
Let's contrast that ancient reality with right now. I mean, somewhere out there right this second, a parent is wide awake at 3 a.m. having a literal crisis. They've tried it all. They've got 47 different sleep training methods bookmarked, contradictory apps buzzing at them, and, you know, that $200 smart bassinet that practically guaranteed to solve this exact problem. And guess what? The baby is still crying. It's claustrophobic, isn't it? We've got all this technology, but honestly, we've never been more exhausted or isolated.
Before we even get into how our ancestors soothed their babies, we gotta ask a more foundational question. Did babies even cry the same way back then? Because for decades, scientists just assumed crying was a hardwired universal thing. A baby is a baby. Hunger hurts, cold hurts, they cry. Simple, right? Well, no. They were dead wrong.
Check this out. Back in 1977, an anthropologist named Melvin Connor spent years living with the Kung people in the Kalahari Desert. Their lifestyle is actually super close to our early human ancestors. He meticulously tracked every single peep those babies made. Now, modern Western babies, they cry anywhere from 1 to 5 hours a day, usually peaking around 6 weeks old. But the Kung infants, literally less than 1 minute per hour during the day, and at night, barely at all.
Just to put that into perspective, we are talking about a 300 to 400% increase in crying duration for modern babies. That's not just a minor statistical blip. We're looking at the exact same species with the exact same biology exhibiting a completely different behavior. So the real mystery isn't just what ancient humans did when their babies cried, it's why do modern babies cry so much more in the first place? The absolute simplest answer to why ancient babies cried less is, well, their parents picked them up. But today, doing that comes with so much anxiety. We're constantly warned to be careful, or we're going to spoil them.
Yeah, scratch that. In 1972, this massive Johns Hopkins study by Bell and Ainsworth totally busted the myth that picking up a crying baby quickly teaches them to manipulate you. They tracked mother-infant pairs for a whole year, and the results destroyed the prevailing wisdom. Babies whose mothers responded fast and consistently in those early months actually ended up crying significantly less by the end of the year. The ones left to cry it out, they cried way more. Bottom line, responsive caregiving creates security, not dependency.
And those Kung mothers we talked about, they didn't just respond quickly. They held their babies constantly, like 90% of the time. Think about that. For 90% of their first year of life, these babies are in direct, skin-to-skin contact with another human. No bouncy seats, no playmats, no lonely cribs. Just a breathing, moving human body. And this wasn't some trendy parenting philosophy. This is just literally what humans did for 300,000 years.
And there is solid proof that this kind of physical contact works miracles. In 1986, pediatrician Ronald Barr did this amazing carrying study in Montreal. He had one group of moms carry their babies for just 3 extra hours a day, even when they were totally perfectly quiet, while the other group just did normal Western parenting. The babies getting those 3 extra hours, they cried 43% less overall. And during that peak fussy stage at 6 weeks, it dropped by 51%. Carrying didn't just calm them down, it actively stopped the crying from ever starting.
So why is physical contact basically magic? It all comes down to a biological concept called the obstacle dilemma. See, as humans evolved bigger brains, our skulls got huge. But because we walk upright, our pelvises could only get so wide. The biological compromise? Babies are born early. Honestly, compared to other primates, human babies are basically born 3 months premature. They are entirely helpless, and they fully expect to still be in the womb. So when you lay a 3-month-old baby alone in a dark crib, their nervous system literally interprets it exactly as it would have 100,000 years ago. I have been left behind to die. It is a primal survival alarm going off, not manipulation.
Okay, so we've established that human babies need constant physical contact to feel safe. But how on earth is one single mom supposed to do that 24/7 without collapsing? Simple answer, she wasn't supposed to. Anthropologist Sarah Blaffer-Hrdy completely shifted the paradigm in 2005. She pointed out that humans are actually highly cooperative breeders. She called it allo parenting, with allo being the Greek word for other. Throughout all of history, mothers have literally always relied on grandmothers, aunts, siblings, the whole community to raise kids. We were absolutely never biologically meant to parent solo. The sheer scale of this teamwork in ancient times is mind-blowing. Anthropologist Edward Tronick studied the FA people in Central Africa. Get this, an infant there gets passed to different caregivers an average of 8 times an hour. By the time an FA baby is just 18 weeks old, they are routinely cared for by an average of 14 different people. 14. If a baby cries, it's not all on the mom. An aunt nurses, grandma holds them, an older sibling entertains. The weight is completely distributed.
Let this timeline really sink in for a second. For 99% of human history, stretching back 300,000 years, a mother was basically never alone with her baby for more than a few minutes. This modern setup we have, the isolated nuclear family locked inside a quiet house, that's a radical, completely bizarre social experiment that was essentially invented in the 1950s. It's barely 70 years old. Today, we take a modern mom, put her completely alone in a house with a newborn for 12 hours a day, hand her a book, and call it maternity leave. It's wild. And honestly, this 70-year experiment is taking a devastating toll. In the US, postpartum depression hits 15 to 20% of new mothers, but among the Kung, it is virtually non-existent. Duke University researchers found that societies with strong female-led support networks have drastically lower depression rates. It's not like Kung women have magical brain chemistry. It's just that they aren't attempting the absolutely impossible task of raising a human infant entirely alone. Section 4, Rethinking Nighttime Parenting. The sleep sync. If daytime parenting is hard, nighttime is just an absolute pressure cooker of exhaustion and anxiety. We are constantly told to put the baby down drowsy but awake in a separate, dark room. But like we just learned, to a baby's nervous system, that isolation is a 5-alarm emergency. When we actually stop fighting our biology, it's incredible what happens. Anthropologist James McKenna spent over 30 years studying infant sleep at Notre Dame. He found that when moms and babies sleep together like they do in traditional societies, their bodies do this literal biological magic trick. Their sleep cycles sync up. The baby's breathing and heart rate match the mother's. The mom enters a lighter sleep phase. Sure, the baby wakes up more, but only for these tiny short bursts. Breastfeeding happens when they're both half asleep. It takes like 90 seconds. There is zero crying, and nobody even has to get out of bed. Plus, the whole concept of nighttime was just totally different back then. There was absolutely no pressure to get 8 uninterrupted hours of sleep so you could rush off to a 9-to-5 job the next morning. Night was communal. If a baby fussed, the mother wasn't alone in the dark. There were people awake by the fire, someone else could take the baby, sing a song, tell a story. This modern obsession with making a baby sleep through the night literally did not exist in human evolution because the goal itself didn't exist. Babies just naturally flowed with the waking and sleeping rhythm of the village. All right, we've traced the timeline. We've looked at the biology, the anthropology, and the mind-blowing data. So what does all this mean for you, right now, living in this modern world?
If you only take away one single thing from this entire explainer, please let it be this. Modern parenting isn't incredibly hard because you are doing something wrong. It's hard because you are trying to do something humans were never, ever designed to do alone. Every single time you feel like you should be able to fix a crying baby all by yourself and you can't, you aren't failing. You are literally fighting 300,000 years of evolutionary biology.
The Kung have this proverb that just perfectly hits the nail on the head. A crying baby is a baby whose mother is too far away. That's it. It's not a bad baby. It's not a manipulative baby who needs to learn independence. It's a baby whose every single cell knows that physical closeness equals survival. We haven't lost the ability to soothe our babies. We just lost the village that let us do it without completely breaking ourselves in the process. So, to that exhausted parent at 3 a.m., drowning in conflicting advice and staring at smart gadgets, you are doing exactly what human beings have done for millennia to build trust and security. You're just being asked to do it in a world that completely forgot how much support it really takes. You are absolutely not failing. Knowing what we know now about our history, the real question isn't why parenting is so hard today. The real question is, how on earth are we going to rebuild the village we left behind?